We're back. For the first time ever yesterday, the U.S. Senate voted to declare a state military a terrorist organization by a vote of 76 to 22, with the majority of Democrats joining Republicans. The Senate encouraged the president to name Iran's Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization. That would mean they join international outlaw groups like Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Hamas, others. Some of the Democratic candidates last night are saying that vote is a first step toward a war with Iran.
I have no intention of giving George Bush the authority to take the first step on a road to war with Iran. And you can't even give him the first step in that authority because he cannot be trusted.
And it is essentially a fig leaf to let George Bush go to war with Iran. And they're looking for an excuse to do it.
My take is not that I oppose classifying Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization. After all, there's evidence that the Guard has been arming, funding, directing extremists inside Iraq who are killing U.S. troops. But I worry about giving the vice president and some of his team an excuse for war with Iran. He's made it clear the military option's on the table, so why do it now? Sure, it may allow for some additional sanctions against Iran. None of those sanctions so far seem to be working. So is that worth the possibility of a pretext for a possible war? Joining me now is Joe Watkins, a Republican strategist, and Pat Buchanan and Rachel Maddow are still with us. All right, Pat, what do you make of this? I mean, why is the Senate, why are the majority of Democrats in the Senate joining in this?
Well, they're not only joining it, they're leading. And I think they feel, one, that it's very popular. Iran is detested. The American people don't want him to get a nuclear weapon. The president himself has said the Quds Force of the Revolutionary Guard is killing Americans. And so I think they're getting out in front of the president, and I think they're flashing him a green light. I believe we're on the escalator to war against Iran, and unless Iran gives up its enrichment program and pulls back on these agents they're sending into Iraq, I don't know how we avoid Mr. Bush being forced to strike him.
Well, that's a scary statement, Joe Watkins, that this is a green light for a war with Iran.
I don't think it's a green light, Dan. I don't think anybody's in a rush to go to war with Iran. But I think this is clearly an acknowledgement of the fact that Iran is no friend of ours, and that the Revolutionary Guard has been involved in terrorist activities that are killing our young men and young women.
Why do you have to pass this resolution? Why does the president have to formally declare them a terrorist organization now? I mean, is it what Pat is saying, which is just another step in the road to war?
Well, I don't think it's a step in the road to war. I think it's an acknowledgement with the full support of Democrats as well as Republicans. I mean, you had a lot of Democrats. Senator Harry Reid, certainly no friend and supporter of the president, who supported this, voted for it, and Dick Durbin and Hillary Clinton, and the list goes on of Democrats who supported along with Republicans. I think the point that they all want to make is that they all want to acknowledge the fact that Iran's Revolutionary Guard is no friend. Remember, the Supreme Commander of the Revolutionary Guard just about a year ago or so said that America and Israel were responsible for September 11th.
Rachel, does this particular amendment scare you?
Yeah, it does. And the problem with it is that there's a divorce between the political showboating that we've seen about Iran, both from Republicans and now from Democrats, and actual practical goals that we want to achieve as a nation with Iran. This is an unnecessary, counterproductive provocation to Iran, gives us nothing concrete in terms of additional leverage against that country, but does make them really mad and helps Ahmadinejad in his grip on power domestically by being yet one more shot against him by us. It doesn't do anything concrete.
What leverage, Joe? What leverage do we get? What additional leverage do we get by imposing these sanctions, by passing this resolution?
Well, we aren't the only ones that have sounded the alarm about Iran. Again, this is not at all heading toward war. It's just again an acknowledgement of the fact that the Revolutionary Guard is engaging in terrorist activities, and we're not the only ones to say that. France's president, and France is certainly not known as an aggressive nation, has said the same thing.
But Pat, I'm not saying we can't speak out against Iran. I'm not saying we can't speak out against the Revolutionary Guard. I'm trying to figure out why even the 26 or so, whatever it is, Democrats would feel comfortable joining the Republicans in what you believe could be a green light to war with Iran.
They are going into the tank for the President of the United States. Dan, look, last April, Speaker Pelosi, they had on the table a resolution that said, unless Iran attacks our guys in Iraq, the President of the United States has no authority under the Constitution to attack Iran. He's got to come to Congress because we got the constitutional power to declare war. They pulled it down. They are enabling Mr. Bush up there right now. At least half the Democratic Party is.
Well, here's what Jim Webb said about it. Said it about it on the floor.
If we are saying that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards are conducting terrorist activities, what we are saying, in effect, is that the Revolutionary Guards are conducting military activities against us. This has the danger of becoming a de facto authorization for military force against Iran. We haven't had one hearing on this.
Joe, doesn't he have a point?
Well, you have to realize, again, that the EFPs that are being produced that are killing our men and women in Iraq are being produced or funded certainly by Iran.
But that's what Jim Webb is saying. He's saying if you're saying that, then what you're saying is that they're effectively declaring war on us, and as a result, we're going to have to respond.
No, not at all, because remember, this is a sense of the Senate resolution. It's not a legally enforceable resolution.
But this is the problem. They are not holding hearings and letting us know exactly what Iran is doing, showing us the evidence and all the rest of it. They're saying, let's take the word we're getting back here, and what they're accusing them of is acts of war against the United States. They're saying the Revolutionary Guard is killing our guys in Iraq. If they are, we ought to hit them.
Listen, there's a very important thing in this resolution that nobody's talking about, which is that it also says our troops are in Iraq now in part to counteract Iran's power. It's using one war to foment another war. This resolution was introduced by the Connecticut for Lieberman Party and the Republican Party. The Democrats were wrong to go along with it. It wasn't a Democratic idea, and they made a mistake by endorsing it.
I got to wrap it up. Pat Buchanan, as always, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.